Welcome to School Zone, the show all about your local school districts here in the White Mountains. I'm your host, John Larsen. Today we have Dr. Brian Taylor with us. He's the director of our CTE program and our WMI at Shoalo School District. And we're going to talk about a new program today. Welcome to the show. Glad you're here. I appreciate you being here, taking the time to be with us. If you would, let's begin with an introduction of yourself. Tell us about yourself, where you're from, tell us about your schooling and whatnot.
Sure. This last year was my first year with the Shoalo Unified School District, and as mentioned, I was the director, have been the director of the White Mountain Institute, or WMI, which has recently expanded to include K-12. So we have K through 5, 6, 8, and 9, 12 grade levels for the online option for students. I've also served as the Director of Career and Technical Education, or CTE, and that's been a very good privilege, and we've done some really great things in expanding that program for the Shoalo Unified School District. We'd like to welcome Lisa Fox, who is our new business teacher, Corey Gillespie, who's now doing VEX Robotics for us, Jose Ortiz, who's doing animation, and Eric Reed, who has been brought on to provide sports medicine. So we've now expanded to many programs within CTE for the school district, and we're excited to have them.
Great, great. Tell me about your degree, where you went. You know, if you
my degree is in curriculum and instruction from Arizona State University, and it was a really great learning experience, and for which I'm very appreciative. And I'm also grateful for more than 2 decades in education, for the opportunity to have worked many times one-on-one with students, and really that's what I enjoy the most, is helping young people succeed. It gives me a sense of not only accomplishment but purpose in working with these young people, so I'm grateful to be here.
Well, we're grateful to have you. I hope you don't mind me pointing out that you and your family are you have a teacher's heart. Your
Yes.
wife is a teacher. Mm-hmm. You're a teacher.
That's correct.
You have kids in our district, attending the schools in the district, so you're neck deep in it, and we're grateful you're here. We're glad you came up to be a part of us.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're here. So let's get started. We're going to talk today about White Mountain Works. Okay, and this is a program that you've developed and are in the, I don't want to say the beginning stages, you're already past the beginning stages, because you're going to implement this come January, correct?
Correct.
Tell us about it.
Well, White Mountain Works it fills a gap that we've noticed was present in our district, and it was a bridge that was missing between our students and our local businesses. We noticed that we have these students who will graduate our high school, and then they're really excited to leave the mountain. They want to go to the valley. They think that's going to be the place where they solve their problems, where they find their future. And for many, perhaps that is the case. But we feel like if we were more organized in our effort to reach out to businesses and connect them with our students who are interested in those areas, we could expose students to those opportunities early on and entice them, our talent, to stay here on the mountain, as well as give opportunities for students to earn a living. We developed a little vision statement, our little board, our team, and it says, in essence, that we are teaching young people to try and be self-reliant and to develop their skills even if they fail in their first attempt. So we're looking to make a connection with local businesses, and we're hoping that after this interview, those employers who are out there will listen very intently to many of the options we have created for them to provide an access point for our students to participate in their profession. So that's what we want to do, is introduce White Mountain Works today and see if we can't get people involved locally.
So I love this concept, because we have kids involved in and particularly our high school, where they're learning trades. They're getting certifications everywhere from construction to nursing, firefighting, and really, I mean, I love the fact that kids can go away, go to college, get a degree, get the experience, but what I really love is when they come back home and then they apply that here at our fire department or at our hospital as a nurse or a doctor or whatever they want to be, x-ray tech, whatever. Or obviously we have a pretty decent construction trade up here. So
you're absolutely right.
You know, and I know I'm leaving some CTE things out, but you know, we've got business, we've got all these things that these kids could be a part of, and like you said, use their talents locally to help build up our community. And I really love this concept. I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited to learn about it today. Can you tell us what organizations are participating?
Absolutely. First, it's important to know that Show Low Unified School District is collaborating with an organization called Arizona at Work through Navajo County, and we have developed a way to take students and then screen them and match them with these businesses. But we couldn't do that with support of local area leadership. And so I'll give you, I brought a little paper here to mention a few names. Sue Hilgart is the operations manager, and she will oversee all out-of-district students, all non-Show Low high school students. She will be the point person for that.
So with that said, you're telling me we've got out-of-district students that can participate in this program?
Well, that's exactly right.
Okay, we'll talk about it later, but I think that's a great point.
It is coming,
okay.
And we want to extend the invitation to other districts to participate.
Cool.
But it'll be up to them whether or not they feel comfortable doing that.
Great, great.
So Miss Hilgart is taking care of that. Dr. Abel, Diana Abel, she is the liaison for our Show Low High School. So all of Show Low High School students will go through her and be mentored and directed by her. Mr. Joe Stabenow is the teacher at WMI, and he will oversee WMI students. Miss Erin Troutman is the career tech, and she will oversee CTE students. Miss Cindy Husk from Vocational Rehab at DES, she will oversee all students with rehabilitative services.
Great.
Also through Arizona at Work.
Great.
Mr. Alan Ramage of Probation of Navajo County will oversee all adjudicated students who get involved with placement. And then we have Miss Kathleen Smith, who is the business liaison. So when businesses want to get involved, she will be the one who helps orient them and get them onboarded to participate. And then I'll help coordinate the team as the director. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, that's great. So I'm seeing, in particular, you talked about probation. I'm seeing that maybe there are some kids who have made some wrong choices, but now have the opportunity to right those. And we've partnered with probation in order to help these kids facilitate the opportunities.
Yeah, kids come to us in with all kinds of backgrounds, and we want to have a placement for each type of student. And I'll sort of describe for you generally what that might look like. We have students who are what you would call regular high school students. Those would include pre-graduates and some of our postgraduates students. But those also would include early college students, some progressive, very advanced students who would like to be placed in an internship. So that's all Show Low High School. We also have WMI students, some of whom are advanced and progressive, but others who are who might be called at-risk students because they have come from a variety of difficult backgrounds. We have a place for them as well. We have students with special needs called special populations, and Miss Cindy Rusk of DES will help facilitate placement of those students. And then, of course, the adjudicated students who have been either directed by the court or who perform better, frankly, if they have employment. Kids have been shown to care more about their school when they actually have employment, and we're excited to involve those students. And we also have walk-ins and students from outside Show Low School District who will become a part of our operation as well. And we'll be contacting each of those school districts and inviting them to participate if they would like to be involved in this internship program, because on the mountain, jobs are all over the place, interests are diverse, and so are students, and it will be a challenge to match them up. However, we're going to try and do our best to find the right placement for both the businesses and for students.
Great. That sounds awesome. So how does this work? Is there lay that out for us.
Sure. Well, let's just look at one half of it. One half is the students and one half are the businesses. So let's start with students. Students can come to us at any time. Most participants will be seniors in high school. Maybe a few juniors under certain circumstances, but mostly seniors. They will have taken, most of them, the ASVAB, which is an interest survey more or less, to learn their strengths and the areas of interest. We'll use that information as well as other tools like it to onboard a student. If a student comes through the high school or WMI, for example, we will take their names, we will schedule a screening where a person from Arizona at Work and a person from Show Low Unified School District will perform the screening and talk with the student about his or her interests and find out what kind of preparations they have made for some kind of employment-based experience. From that, we'll have a small profile. We'll go through a database of businesses and their interests in a sort of menu and find out if there's a way we can place these students. Ideally, we'd like to place them for both semesters, fall and spring semester, in an internship. That can be a paid or an unpaid internship. It really depends on the need of the business. We then will monitor that student and oversee their progress. We'll have ongoing mentoring and training that will help them maintain professional standards. They have to keep a log of their participation because we have to track their hours, and they will be administered a grade at the high school for their participation. They'll receive high school credit for that. So when we have students come to us, many of them will have the skills that you mentioned earlier. We have CTE, for example, that's one demographic of students. We have business management, construction management, early childhood education, photography, graphic design, culinary, automation, robotics, sports medicine, animation, and film and television. And that's just CTE.
Yeah. We could even possibly talk to the city of Show Low about this TV station. For sure. And kids possibly doing some sort of
There might be internships here.
Yeah.
We want to expose them to what it's like to work in your shoes. And maybe they'll like it, maybe they won't. Maybe they'll be great at it, maybe they won't. But at the very least, we're giving back. We're giving an opportunity for a young person to experience something they wouldn't have the opportunity to experience if we don't take that step. They might be a NAVIT student, and you've mentioned some of these: fire science, welding, automotive, certified nursing assistant, medical assistant, cosmetology. All of those are going to be available from Show Low School District, students of ours. And some of these programs, both CTE and NAVIT, are areas where certifications are available. And that's really nice, industry certification. So those businesses out there who want a certain preparation, those things are going to be available as well. And of course, we'll have our regular students in any form and our at-risk students in any form. So students come to us, we screen them, we try and find a placement for them, and we monitor them in whatever length is appropriate. In order for a student to receive credit, they have to I believe participate at least 5 hours a week on site at a particular business. That meets the state's minimum standard for that high school credit. On the business side, onboarding, what's really great about this is that our team has developed many entry points for businesses to participate. So they can be small or large. They could be monetary based, meaning paid positions, or unpaid. It really depends on the needs of the business. And we live in a particularly unusual and uncertain time right now, and businesses might be having difficulty or monitoring their budgets, and we're sensitive to those things. So we whatever profile the business wants to create, small or large, we're willing to design our placement based on those needs. So take a listen to some of the things, and I'm hoping businesses out there listening, here are some of the areas where you can participate. Let's start with the small ones. You can participate by just having a job shadow. It could be literally just a single day where a student comes in and just watches, maybe a job shadows someone in your company to see what that experience is like. You might want to participate in a job fair. Hopefully in the spring we anticipate preparing a job fair where we invite businesses to come and participate with us so they can market themselves as businesses and really try and attract not only students from our school and neighboring districts, our young high school and early graduate or students who've even left high school, not only those students but other individuals as well in the community who are looking for jobs. A next option would be, as I've mentioned, an internship, paid or unpaid. That could be a semester long from like August to December or from January to May. We're going to do our first pilot starting in January. So we're hoping that some of you businesses out there will give us an opportunity to take a student and let them be a part of your workforce experience from January to May. And that can be paid or unpaid. Anything that's paid, we as a district do not get involved in. That is strictly between the employer and the student. But the student will know in advance whether or not the placement is for a paid or unpaid position. So there's no person applying for a particular internship hoping that it's going to be paid when it's clearly been designated as a non-paid or unpaid internship. We also will have apprenticeships, which is like an internship in a more specific way, where a student is paired with an individual to learn a specific skill at a job. So they can really learn what it means to walk in your shoes. And there is the expectation, while obviously the person has a job to do, but some of that we're hoping that they'll dedicate a little time and practice to the student to learn more about what it means to be in your shoes. And so there is an apprenticeship option if you're interested in that.
Training in
some kind of training, yeah, some kind of training where you're teaching them what to do.
I know we've always talked about electricians had apprentices, plumbers had apprentices, not just them, but that's what came to my mind.
I'm a big fan of apprenticeships. I really feel like there's no better learning than hands-on learning. And our students can get workforce experiences in a sense at our school. We try and give them practice in multiple ways. But the reality is we know that when you graduate high school, even if you have a certificate, there's just so much to learn. And those things really can't be learned until you're in the field practicing that trait. We also, as you might expect, have part-time work, full-time work, and even summer work, where we can arrange an internship based on any one of those options for employers. So if any of those things seem to fit. Our students, when they're placed, they just aren't automatically placed. Our goal is to have them go through the employment experience by participating in an interview. So we want to teach our kids to dress appropriately, to learn how to speak in an interview, to answer questions. And the employer would, like any other work experience, have the option of saying yes or no to a given candidate. If they don't feel comfortable, we're not going to place them there. We want it to be a good fit. At the same time, give our students some practice in professional job hunting. Other things include, I have right here is a little employer menu, and we'll send this out. At the bottom of it, after the list of items and descriptions are included of the things I've already mentioned, there are a number of other options for individuals, and these are important to consider as well. If you're willing to host an at-risk student, there are opportunities for business incentives. Arizona at Work has a grant-funded opportunity for businesses who take at-risk students. And I won't go into great detail just yet, because we have something coming up for businesses that will explain all of this better than I can in a few minutes. But we'll have an opportunity for Arizona at Work to incentivize businesses to take a chance on those students who are at-risk students. And it'll be a real blessing for the business and for the student themselves. So that's nice. And again, I'll let Miss Hilgart, when she presents, coming up next month, on that experience.
So in my head, when you said take a chance on that risk student, thing that came to my head was change of life.
Well, for the student it is, and probably for the person taking the chance. If we've had a student who was suspended, we can not do anything, and what will likely happen is what's happened in the past. That student will follow a cycle. Most often, if they're suspended from school, they might go online where they're either successful or they aren't, and they'll often spend more time getting into trouble or returning to those environments that cause so much grief in the community. We believe that if a person's mind and physical ability are focused on work, on something that interests them, something for which they're proud, and possibly could earn even a living or earn the right to earn a living in it, to prove themselves, giving them that sense of pride, that sense of ownership, is a great way to keep those kids out of trouble, and they become more productive. They take pride. Some of them haven't had successful experiences, and they need them. So if you are willing to host an at-risk student, some of those may be adjudicated students. It does come with special incentives for the business. One of the things I'll mention, if you were to take an adjudicated student, for example, someone who through the court system has been court ordered to find employment, we would help place them, we help monitor them, trace them, but Mr. Ramage, who's the current probation liaison from Navajo County, he would actually be the one to monitor students on a daily or weekly basis to make sure they're doing okay. So you have added support, making sure the kids are there on time, they have transportation, they know what their responsibilities are, and they're living up to those responsibilities. So some of the kids who need more support come with more support, and that's really nice.
Great. Dr. Taylor, we've just got a few minutes left. We've already mentioned you're going to start this in January. Tell us about that. Tell us about the meeting that you're going to have in November, so we don't miss anything. I don't want to miss that part.
Sure. On November 12th, we're having what we're calling Keeping Talent Local. It is from 4 o'clock to 5:30, and in that event, it's actually at Show Low High School in the cafeteria. All of you, the businesses who hear this, please come, and if you could send us an email, you can send an email to whitemountainworks@showlow.education. If you send us an email and say, I'm coming, this is my business, 3 of us are participating, coming, we want to make sure we have enough refreshments. It's kind of an end of the day refreshment experience where we will show a presentation and explain in more detail how this all will work. But November 12th, cafeteria, 4 to 5:30 at Sholo High School. And if you can't make it, send us an email anyway, and we can send you the invitation or some information via email. We need your help. If we're going to make this work, we have to have participation from our local businesses.
Sure. This is really exciting in my opinion. I love the fact that we can create opportunities for our kids to be successful. And this can show a child that he or she wants to do a certain thing and therefore go after that with a college degree or certifications or whatever, a number of things that they can and will be able to do. So this really excites me. I'm grateful for this. I appreciate you putting the effort into it. I appreciate you coming to see us today. Is there anything else that we're missing that you want to give us in the last minute?
Only that some businesses have already responded positively, and we thank you for that, and we hope many more will become involved. November 12th is our unveiling, but at any time before or after that, if you're willing to get involved, we'd love to have you. We actually want to start screening some students now to have placements ready for January when the time comes.
Dr. Taylor, are we going to have the opportunity to let the community know these are the businesses that are involved, these are the ones that are helping? Because I want to go to those folks.
Well, I appreciate that.
I want to patronize them.
I appreciate that. And we have had certain businesses say yes, and in that same field, some businesses say no. Everyone's at a different place, and I want to be mindful of it. But as a patron myself, as just a citizen of the area, I do want to give back to those who are willing to take that chance and give us an opportunity to help these kids find an access point into a successful career in their field. So we're appreciative in advance of all those who are willing to even listen. The smallest contribution in any way is going to be welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for joining us here on the School Zone, and we'll see you again soon.